with Jake and Fulton coming to you on a Thursday. Welcome in. We've got a lot to get to in terms of the Kansas City Royals 2 months into the season. We will hear from head coach Andy Reid as week 2 of OTAs will be concluding here in about an hour. We will see if we'll hear from Spags and back as the OC, Matt Nagy. So we'll get to that coming up in the 1 and 2 o'clock hours. We will get to plenty of news when it comes to the Chiefs in the offseason. A lot to get to. We're going to go with childhood activities for our list today as the summer is here, man. And that was the best time when you were a kid. No school, especially when you could ride your bike around. Oh, gosh, it was, the old saying is, I wish you knew the good times were during the good times. Because when you were, like a 4th and 5th grader, just, riding around, having a good time in the summer, you didn't realize that was about as good as it got, man.
Yeah, because then life got real and things sucked.
Yeah, then you got interested in, the boys and the girls, and then you got nervous, and then it all mattered.
Listen, the minute you figured out who you liked and what romantic interests were and what those things were, it all went downhill.
Oh man,
all goes downhill at that moment.
So
because you start caring way too much about other people.
Then of course you get older, and then you got to thinking about jobs and bills and all that kind of stuff. But
man, what I'd give to be back in 5th grade, just not a care in the world.
Not a care in the world. It's summertime and fantastic. So we got a lot to get to. We're going to hear from Nija Canaday. That's right. She is getting set. I think she's going to pitch. I don't know why she wouldn't. But Stanford takes on Oklahoma in the Women's College World Series down in Oklahoma City. 1:30 is the scheduled start time for Stanford, Oklahoma. We will try to keep you updated on that. It's pretty cool if she does get the start against that juggernaut that is Oklahoma. So plenty to get to today on this edition of Mic'd Up. As always, hit us up on our text line and our Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line, 785-272-9429. Give us your shouts and let us know your opinions. No Royals baseball, but we are 2 months in. We are 2 months in. And Fulton, before the start of this year, we knew that the Royals needed to have some questions answered.
Mm-hmm.
It should have happened last year, but still, there's always questions answered every single year.
Yeah, every season there are questions to be answered no matter where you are in the state of your team.
Now, the 5 questions that I came up with might be different than the 5 questions that you came up with. We have no idea what they are.
Nope.
Try to keep them so we're seeing them very first and fresh right out of the gate. And then tomorrow we will get to the questions for the rest of the season. We're going to go full Paul Harvey and the rest of the story coming up in the second half of the show tomorrow. Did you get the Paul Harvey reference and the rest of the story?
Not really.
Really?
What's that from?
He was maybe the most iconic news guy outside of Walter Cronkite.
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
No. And then he said, and now the rest of the story.
Yeah, weirdly enough,
Really?
Not a lot of news was played in my house. I knew about the news. We didn't watch a lot of news shows. Or at least they weren't around with me. Like, I knew what things were growing up, but I did not consume them by sitting in front of, cable news.
Okay.
We watched a lot of local news. That's what we watch more than anything.
No, I'm not saying that's bad, man.
I know.
I'm not
just clarifying. Yeah.
It's just
my family.
That was who the main news guy was when I was a real little kid. And that's what my dad listened to. So the rest of the story, we'll get to the rest of the season.
My family's always real big on we watch local news.
But it's not just that. It's just you're 13 years younger than me.
That is also true.
So it's the sheer generation aspect of it. So, but yeah, Paul Harvey, cool. Legendary guy, legendary voice on the radio. Anyways, we'll get to that coming up tomorrow. So
Yes.
All righty. We will see if we are in agreement on the answers, or can you have an answer to the question? All right. Here are my 5 questions, and they are in no particular order. These are just 5 questions. I don't think with this baseball team, one of them is just as important as the other.
Yeah,
okay,
they're all equal weight.
All right. So, first one for me. Through 2 months, what is the answer? The question, can Brady Singer back up his terrific 2022 season? That answer through 2 months is a resounding no.
Oh, yeah, it's a hell no.
That's a resounding no.
Yeah. You haven't answered that one. No.
Can Brady Singer back up his terrific 22? Was 22 a flash, or was 22 who he is?
Yeah.
Through 2 months, heading into these 2 off days, and in the month of June,
he's been horrible.
That is an answer of N-O with a capital and underline.
Yeah. No, he's horrible. Horrible. And that's first question I'll bring up too, because I had as well. Can Brady do it again? Could he do it?
Yeah.
And through 2 months, not a chance. Not a chance.
A second question for me for this Royals team coming into this year. And the reason why I think this is so important because of the position that you play at the K, and every single good Royals team or decent Royals team had a good center fielder. Can Drew Waters play center field for the Royals? That was such a big question for me. Because it's always up the middle. We were told up the middle. They got a good catcher, Salvador Perez. Shortstop and Bobby Witt. Do you have a second baseman? Do you have a center fielder? Can Drew Waters play center field for the Royals? And that's not just defense, but can it be at the plate? Him getting injured, honestly, is one of the biggest setbacks for this year through the first 2 months. The answer is an incomplete, obviously, because he got
the answer
hurt.
can't exist because he's played like 5 games.
But the fact that he missed out on essentially 60 games this year is a big, big question mark and a big negative that you even had this situation. Because if you're telling me, oh, Jake, would this team be better if Drew Waters was in center field over Jackie Bradley Jr.? The answer is
resounding yes.
But also is, hey, if for 2 months, if Drew Waters, let's say Drew Waters did exactly what he did last year, okay, to start this season. If Drew Waters did exactly what he did last year, and last year he did not play, he played in 32 games. But if Drew Waters can have an on-base percentage of 324, a slug of almost 500, an OPS of 803, and an OPS plus of 124, he's your center fielder for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
That's your center fielder.
You would have the answer to the question.
That's why, to me, that injury has been huge. But that's my second question, and we don't know.
Yeah, we don't answer that. And my second question is along the lines of that. It wasn't Drew specifically. Just, can you solidify center field? Whether it's Drew Waters, whether it's Kyle Isbell, whether that's somebody at AAA that, we haven't seen yet. Can you solidify center field? And I think that question, in a nutshell, is still unknown because we don't know.
But I will say this because just do you have center fielder? That answer is no at this point in time.
But I'm not willing to call it a no, because to me, if you say you don't have a center fielder, it means Drew Waters can't do it. Kyle Isbell can't do it.
Okay.
Like, to call that a no means I know for a fact they can't do it. You could. Because also, Drew Waters or Kyle Isbell could be the dude. Neither of them can be healthy enough to answer that question. I think Drew Waters is more affected by injury than Kyle Isbell because Kyle did get a longer run before his hamstring got involved. But he was also playing better when his hamstring got hit. And maybe had his hamstring not get hit, we'd have a real competition in our hands right now. Like, that overall question is incomplete because we do not have enough data to assess Drew mainly, but because Kyle's picking it up, I don't think we have enough data to fully assess that. That is an incomplete on just the center field is just a question mark. It is not a complete answer yet.
I think, and we differ on the Isbell topic, I don't think he can be the guy He's almost at 500 plate appearances.
Yeah.
And the results right now through at least and it hasn't been a consistent 500.
No.
It's over
been up and down.
It's been over three seasons. But last year he did play in 100 games and was not remotely
had more bad than good.
Not remotely
I
close.
agree.
But we'll have to go to see. My next question. How does Daniel Lynch perform with this new pitching staff and in his essentially Brady Singer year last year? Because last year, Brady Singer had the year in COVID, had 21, and then it was breakout year was last year. Daniel Lynch didn't really have that. Last year kind of was his build-up, and then this year could have been his
breakout
Brady Singer year. Does Daniel Lynch show improvement? Does Daniel Lynch improve? And the answer to that is, NA, non-applicable.
He's had one start.
Because he's been hurt.
No, I'm right there with you. Just you can't have an answer to that one. You really can't because he's had exactly one start. My third question, is Bobby Witt Jr. a long-term shortstop? Can he defensively be a shortstop?
So just defensively.
That was because I know that bat will play no matter the position.
Okay.
Because I could tell you he could be a long-term third baseman. With that bat and that defense I saw last year, he could. But they were hell-bent on saying he's a shortstop. So my question is, can he be a long-term shortstop?
I will say through 2 months, yes.
Oh, it's resounding yes.
I think his defense has gotten better. I think he's more comfortable. So for 2 months, I think that answer is yes. They did find their shortstop.
It's a resounding yes that he can be a long-term shortstop.
Mine is, have they found a third baseman shortstop, depending upon where you wanted to put Bobby? Because at that time we didn't know where he could go, because there are a lot of people who said, ship him to third, put him in center, all that kind of stuff. Have they found a third baseman shortstop opposite of Bobby Witt Jr. on the left side of the diamond? And right now it's too early to tell. But if you would say definitively after 2 months, is there any flashes? Yes, for Garcia has shown flashes. But through 2 months, I don't think you can.
No, one of my fourth question as well is a long-term third baseman on this roster? And the answer is an incomplete. Because Mike Hale has shown flashes that he can do it, but then I have questions of, is that the kind of bat you want to play at third? Is the bat profile, is his best value is a third baseman? I think there's still a lot of questions around third. I'm not willing to say no, because I think there is a chance they just make it Mike Hell, and I think that could work. But there's been also not enough data for me to say a resounding yes. So, and a similar question to yours, is there a long-term third baseman on this roster? It's incomplete. It's one of those incompletes.
Then, do you flip him? Do you put Garcia at short and Bobby Witt at third if you want to go with the value aspect of it? That's the bummer part about what the Royals have done with Salvador Perez. They've wasted his great value because he's hitting 30 home runs as a catcher. No catcher hits 30 home runs. Like, they don't do that.
Yeah. Offensive catchers aren't a thing.
You're just wasting the years for Salvador Perez. And then these are all of the 5 questions that I had leading into this year. Had nothing to do with the bullpen. I don't care about the bullpen whatsoever. I didn't have a question about Bobby Witt Jr. because I think wherever you put him, I think eventually he's going to succeed. Has he done great when it comes to the bat this year? No, but I didn't have a Bobby Witt. And I didn't have Vinny Pasquantino because I think Vinny's more steady Eddie than everybody with what his what he does. I don't think Edward Olivares is part of the future, so I really don't care what Edward Olivares does. At that point, don't really care about second baseman. You get a second baseman who is semi-decent and fine, great, whatever. Don't care about the second baseman. But is MJ Melendez a legit guy who can play 160, not 160, let's say 145 games a year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about the position because
is he the type of player that you put out there 145 games to be successful?
That you can do that.
Yeah.
And right now, this year's been a real struggle for MJ. And I'm gonna say right now, I trend to I'm worried.
Yeah.
I'm worried. I'm not there to give up on him because he was a rookie last year.
Yeah.
It's
still far too early.
It's the sophomore worry. It's the same kind of situation, not the exact same, but are Seattle Mariners fans worried about, Julio Rodriguez?
Yeah, and they shouldn't be. He's slumped like crazy, but it's the same idea. Can they repeat the performance? But
I am worried because right now a lot of his at-bats don't look good.
Yeah,
and that's over the majority of the first 2 months.
Agreed. And y'all know me in my stance on MJ Melendez. I'm with you on it. Like, the answer is incomplete. Because even I, as much as I like him as a player, can't say I can guarantee that's a everyday big league starter, because there's something with his approach this year that's just broken it off. And I think it's getting better. The last few weeks I've been more and more encouraged, but it's still not there yet. But it's an incomplete for me. My last question I had was a kind of an overall arching question. Will this regime be different? Bringing in Cotrero, bringing the new pitching development, JJ in charge. Will they run the ship differently? And to me, it's not a hard yes, but it's a yes. Because on the field, we've seen them do things differently. Cotrero's not been dedicated to some guys have to play come hell or high water. He has been trying to find the rules and figure out what works best. Eventually, it was probably a little longer than it could have been, but decided to finally move Bobby Jr. down because that was best for him. Outside of, the club may have been, he's a, top of the order guy. It's like, no, this is best. We're going to try something different with Nick Pratto leading off. We're going to, after 2 weeks, Hunter Dozier was no longer an everyday player. After 2 weeks, it was slowly like that. Then the regime DFAing Dozier, bringing up some different guys. It's not a resounding yes. There are still questions.
I think it is. I think,
and if you want to say resounding, I'm right. I'm willing to go that far.
I think so. And the reason why is they are trying to turn every stone right now. We got Stalmont opening. We're doing Carlos Hernandez opening. We're taking Greinke out, for the first,
They're not stuck in the mud on old ways.
I don't think so. I think you're seeing a very different approach from Matheny than you are from Cotrero.
I think you are too, and that delights me.
Yeah.
If I had any questions, it's how much will JJ be different? But as of now, my questions are he is different, but that's not an large enough sample size.
No.
My sample size for JJ being different is what does he do at a trade deadline? Does he move players that need to be moved? Because Dayton Moore never did.
Yeah.
Is JJ more transactional? That would put that's where it gets resounding for me. For Q, it's resounding, yes.
Well,
Q infinitely different than Matheny.
I think the answer is,
but so JJ being willing to DFA Dozier gives me a lot bigger.
But not only that,
he's different.
He did. It sounded like he did end up being the one. Dayton Moore to sign off on it, but to trade Whit Merrifield.
Oh yeah, no, that was a JJ Picola move.
Yeah. So, and that was something, to me, guys, and we'll get to who maybe needs to be traded, but Barlow needs to be gone.
There's guys that need to get moved.
Chapman needs to be gone. Greinke needs to be gone. I mean, you really need to have oh gosh, what are we going to do with all these great players that we're shipping off? Oh no, what are we going to do? Keep losing? Doesn't really matter. I mean, technically, you just need to be in the bottom three because we're going to an MLB lottery.
Yeah.
Is the bottom three gets the same odds?
I can't remember the math.
Or is it's still the worst one?
I can't remember the math.
But you know what I'm talking about because they did go to a lottery.
No, they're trying to de-incentivize tanking and it's working. Well, it should hopefully work. Except, talk to Oakland, it's different.
Yeah, but like you said, they're not.
Oakland's its own thing. Oakland's tanking not because they want better players. Oakland's tanking because Fisher's a cheap schmuck who wants to move his team.
We got a lot more to get to. We'll hear from Nija Canaday coming up in just a little bit here on Mic'd Up. K-State is probably going to be one of the most watched games in the non-conference on the basketball side of things this coming year.
Good for them.
How cool is that?
It's going to be awesome.
There's no time yet on the game, but it will be in Vegas on November the 6th. T-Mobile Arena. USC will play Kansas State.
It's going to be awesome.
Bronny James, first game as a college athlete, will be against Kansas State.
He's going to get put in a blender by Drum Tang.
USC K-State. How about that? It's going to be on ESPN or some national broadcast. But
100%.
How about that?
No, that's really cool for Tang and the Cats.
They're going to get some pub there in Vegas. LeBron will be in attendance. Coming up, we will hear from Nija Canaday. baseball for the second night in a row. And so, for the second night in a row, Fulton has nothing to do.
Yeah. Luckily, last night, I had a show to watch. So I was only watching an episode, so that was good. And then tonight, I at least have the NBA Finals. And I think, and I'm pretty correct here, but my brain's so fried. I don't know if tonight's tonight. It might be tomorrow. I have to double check this real fast. Yeah. Oh, that's Saturday. Why did I feel like it came sooner? Game one of the Stanley Cup Finals is until Saturday.
Oh, yeah, you're a Vegas guy.
Yeah. They're like, I'm never going to pretend to be like a diehard, oh my goodness, all my heart's into this. But no, ever since Vegas became a team back in 2018, God, it's been that long now. No, I said I want to get into hockey, went with Vegas, and we're in the Stanley Cup Finals again.
Yeah.
Into the conference finals. 4 out of 6 years of existence been to the conference finals.
You're kind of like myself and the Predators, because my wife lived in Nashville and was a Predators fan, so my team is the Predators.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's who I kind of
I pay attention to Vegas.
I'm not a dieharder, but
yeah, I pay attention to Vegas all throughout the year. I know what they're doing all year long, and I start watching a lot more.
Who's their best player?
Jack Eichel.
But don't act like I know Jack Eichel.
No, I don't like you do.
Jack Eichel,
Jack
you
Eichel.
idiot. Who's the goalie?
It depends. Right now, Aiden Hill's been getting a majority of the time, but like Logan Thompson started, then Aiden Hill's gotten some run. Laurent Brossoit did a lot of work, mainly in the playoffs.
Who's their manager? Who's the coach?
They changed it. Oh, Bruce Cassidy. I don't know. They've literally changed like 4 times already, but it's Bruce Cassidy now.
Bruce Cassidy?
Yeah, used to manage the coach of the Boston Bruins. Because there was DeGallant, there was DeBoer, there's Cassidy.
You're a fan. You're a fan.
There's a 4th I'm forgetting.
Hey, no, you're good. Those are the questions. If you are a fan,
if you know the best
team,
player for hockey, if you know their goalie, you know their coach.
You kind of No, well done. Well done.
Now this is just for me now. There's a 4th Vegas coach I swear I'm missing because it went
Well
Gallant, DeBoer. Now it's Cassidy.
Yeah,
this
Bruce
is Cassidy's first year, by the way.
Good for you.
I swear there's a 4th I'm missing.
Okay. No. If you can at least give me those, you've invested some.
I have that, and I own 1 Vegas Golden Knights jersey.
Okay.
Because I did not have the money to spend on a whole sweater.
No, because those are expensive. Yeah, those are
but
expensive.
Vegas has
Good for
some
you.
really cool looking
Good
sweaters.
for you.
So thank you.
Oh,
so
you are not one of them just, I'm going to pick, so-and-so. Like me riding with Florida, right? Because it's Florida and
Florida Panthers
and Vegas. They're the 8 seed too.
Yeah, and
what's with the
I hope they get demolished.
And what seed was the
Vegas was number 1 in the West.
Oh, like number one, or just number 1 in their?
They were number 1. They were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference side of the bracket. Boston was, of course, above them because Boston set the record for most wins in a regular season.
Bounced by Florida.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Yeah, no, unless I'm weirdly mistaken, Vegas had the best record in the West. It was close. Like I think Colorado was a close 2. If my brain's working properly right now.
Your answer in the Western Conference.
So I think Vegas had like 2 points ahead of Colorado, I want to say, for the number 1 seed.
Yes, they were 2 points ahead. Yeah. They had the same amount of wins.
Yeah, Vegas had more overtime losses.
Yes.
And so that's how they got there.
Yep.
Same amount of wins, just Colorado had more straight up losses in regulation.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's good for you. See, it's kind of like if you wear a shirt of a band, you got to at least name me 3 songs. And if you can't, right off the rip, like if you have to think about it a little bit, then you're not a fan. You just like the shirt. Or you're like a casual passive fan. You're not a true fan like yourself. Well done. I'm proud of you. Good job.
It's the most I've ever been grilled on my Vegas Golden Knights knowledge.
Good for you.
So, but no, yeah, luckily tonight I have game 1 of the NBA Finals, which like I have no rooting interest in this really.
I do, man.
But
Go Nuggets.
I mean, my rooting interests are I want the Nuggets to win because then Dan gets to experience another championship and the first one for the Nugs, and I want that for Dan.
Yes.
But then if Miami wins, Jimmy Butler gets a ring, and I really want a ring for Jimmy. So that's my point of like I have no rooting interest of like I have something good happening on either side. Yep. Like I would prefer the Nuggets to win because I like teams getting first championships. I love that to win.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. What would be cool is if Nija Canaday can somehow do something that only one other team has done this year and do it in the College World Series. She is the freshman of the year. Nija Canaday and the Stanford Cardinal take on Oklahoma and that juggernaut of a team that I believe is like 55
They're
and
55 and 1.
Yeah.
They have won 48 consecutive
Yeah.
games. That is an NCAA softball record.
Yeah, it's incredible. And they're going to play each other at 1:30. We believe Canaday is going to pitch, but she might not. You know, they have another good pitcher on the Cardinals team. But we tried to track her down yesterday, kind of busy. But Brendan had a chance to late last night. And here is what Nija Canaday had to say about her first year and being the National Freshman of the Year.
Joining us now on 580 WIBW is the country's best freshman softball player, and you do not have to take my word for it because the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association named Topeka's own Nija Canaday the National College Freshman of the Year. The standout pitcher for the Stanford Cardinal will lead the Cardinal into the Women's College World Series and the opening round coming up on Thursday against the Oklahoma Sooners. Nija, thank you so much for taking some time to join us today. We really do appreciate it. And the first thing I want to know is whether or not you've actually gotten a moment throughout this season, throughout this postseason process to just sit back and let the moment soak in a little bit. Have you gotten a chance to just sort of appreciate what you've done and where you are right now?
Yes. First of all, thank you so much. But yeah, I feel like it set in a little bit. The award, of course, was awesome. Hearing all my teammates kind of cheer for me, that was all amazing. And then we actually just got 2 more awards on our team. Elena Waters, an All-American, and Ali Kanashiro actually got the Golden Glove Award. So it's been an exciting couple of days for our team. But honestly, I feel like we're all just taking the days as it comes. But the best is yet to come, honestly, and we're all looking forward to when the tournament starts.
It goes without saying when you win an award like this that it's been an incredible year. And I've got your stats right in front of me. And frankly, they are incredible. I mean, a 0.48 ERA for the season, a 16-1 record, nearly 200 strikeouts for the year. What has clicked for you and for this Cardinal team in general since the very beginning of your freshman year?
Thank you. Yes. I honestly, I owed all to my coaches too. Coach Nuber is incredible. So from the moment I got on campus, we just started working and chipping away. I remember in the fall, I couldn't wait until season got to kind of just to prove what I could do, and I'm glad I could do that.
We're chatting with Nija Canaday, the Topeka native, Topeka High graduate, and the National College Softball Freshman of the Year here on 580 WIBW as Nija gets ready to lead her Stanford Cardinal into the Women's College World Series in the opening round coming up on Thursday against the Oklahoma Sooners. I know it's all about team for you. It always has been all about the team for you, going back to your days at Topeka High and all the different sports you played and succeeded in. What has this postseason experience been like for you and your teammates and this very special group of Cardinal players?
Yes, they've been amazing. We talk about this a lot, but just the growth this program has gone through. Our fifth years talk about when they came in their freshman year, they couldn't imagine being at the World Series now, and just how last year they just came up a little bit short. They made it to Super Regionals, but they didn't make it out. But so this year, just being able to cross that off the bucket list and getting out of Super Regionals and coming to Oklahoma City, this has been the goal for everybody. The goal the whole year, honestly, for the players, coaches, staff. So it's incredible to be here. Not so many good teams don't get this opportunity, and a lot of great teams, honestly, haven't gotten this opportunity this year. So we're definitely not taking anything for granted, and we're just trying to soak it all in.
When you look back on your freshman season, and ideally there is still plenty more of that season to go in Oklahoma City at the Women's College World Series, when did it feel to you, when you look back on everything you've done this season, when did it feel to you like this team had a chance to really do something special?
Yes, I want to say it wasn't even this season, but it was this past fall. I just remember practicing and scrimmaging, and I don't know if it was just the freshman in me that was just starstruck by everyone who was so good on this team, but I just remember looking around and thinking, like, we have a squad, like we can go far. And I don't know, like that was part of the reason I was so excited to just get into season and see what we could do, just because Coach Alistair says this all the time, but we felt like a sleeping giant for so long. So I knew from the moment I stepped on campus and had our first couple practices, I knew this team would be special.
Well, let's look ahead to this matchup against Oklahoma. Anyone who knows anything about, frankly, sports in the Midwest and anything about college softball knows how good this Oklahoma program has been for so long. What stands out to you about this Sooners team that you're going to become intimately familiar with coming up here on Thursday afternoon?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely going to be fun. I mean, two amazing teams going at it. Like, I can't wait. It's going to be a great softball game to play and to probably watch. So, just being able to play against another amazing team, it's an incredible opportunity. But I feel like we're ready for the challenge. We've played amazing teams all year, so I feel like it'll be another tough game.
Nija Canaday is our guest here on 580 WIBW, the National College Softball Freshman of the Year, Topeka native, Topeka High graduate, as she gets ready to lead the Stanford Cardinal into the Women's College World Series and the opening round against Oklahoma coming up on Thursday afternoon. You mentioned playing a tough schedule every single game in the Pac-12, and they call it the Conference of Champions for a reason, and it's been a darn good softball conference for a long time. When you look back on this year up to this point, what was your welcome to the Pac-12, welcome to high major softball moment?
Yeah, I remember our first game was Oregon, actually, if I remember correctly, and we played at Oregon. So playing away your first Pac weekend, obviously isn't easy, but I remember we ended up winning the series, and Oregon's an amazing team. So just starting my kind of freshman year with freshman conference schedule with them with a win there. And honestly, I think just started the whole process. And yeah, I was very pleased with what we did, and just looking to build upon that.
When you look at your own game, Nija, and where you were when you left Topeka High and entered Stanford and became a part of the Cardinal program at the start of the year to where you are now heading into the biggest event in the sport, where would you say you've grown the most in the circle and just in general over the past season?
Yes, I want to say it's been a bit both mental and like physically in the pitching side of things. When you get to college, you realize like these hitters, like especially in the Pac-12, like 1 through 9 on each team's amazing. So I feel like we got here this fall, and Coach Nyberg and I and my catchers, we all just worked on just nailing down spots and trying to throw each pitch the best I can, and trying to hit as well the spot as I can, just because if you don't, like, hitters can take advantage of it. So that, and then just coming into college as a freshman, like there's so much you can learn mentally whenever that's from a coach or honestly upperclassmen. I've learned so much from Elena Vaughter. She's helped me grow so much, and her and Regan Faust, they've honestly both been incredible, just trying to mold me to the Stanford legacy.
I know for certain that we here at the radio station and everyone around Topeka, everyone throughout Northeast Kansas is rooting for you guys and rooting for you and hoping for nothing but the best for your Cardinal program as you go into this World Series experience. Over the course of this year, and the accolades have come in from left and right just constantly, and obviously it's been a successful year overall for you. Have you heard a lot from folks back home, whether it's family, friends, old teammates? Have you heard a lot from them over the course of the year?
I have, yes. My phone has been blowing up. People are reaching out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's been incredible. And actually, we actually played KU in our preseason, and I had a lot of support there. I give pitching lessons actually to girls in Topeka, so a lot of them came out in their teams, and it was I feel the love definitely. It's been incredible.
All right, Nija, I'll get you out of here on this. It's a two-parter for our final question. Number one, what do you miss about your hometown right here in Topeka? And two, what have you enjoyed the most about Palo Alto so far?
Oh, I think something I miss the most is just my community, honestly, like my family and friends, just being around them every day. I feel like that's something all college students kind of go through, especially their first year. But I'm happy to be back this summer. But something I love about Palo Alto is, I want to say, like, honestly, going along with that is just my new family I made. This team, our chemistry is so special, and if you're ever in trouble, like, one of the upperclassmen can drive you to Target or whatever, and we're all just one family. So just it was kind of like leaving a family, but going into a whole nother family.
Well, it has been quite a year for the Stanford softball family. They are back in the Women's College World Series, and they'll open their World Series run against the Oklahoma Sooners on Thursday afternoon with Topeka's own Nija Canaday in the circle, the Topeka native, Topeka High grad, and the National College Softball Freshman of the Year. Nija, thank you so much for taking some time out of what has been a whirlwind experience for you down in Oklahoma City. We really appreciate it. There are a lot of people around Topeka who have been supporting you all year and will certainly be supporting you down in OKC. We appreciate the time and best of luck at the College World Series.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Nija Canaday, great stuff. That's pretty cool for the Topeka High product down in Oklahoma City. First pitch against Oklahoma, assuming she's pitching around 1:30. We'll do some digging here during the commercial break to make sure, see if there's a lineup or anything projected from that. So that's really, really cool. Coming up next, K-State has another contract extension that might be as important as Jerome Tang and Chris Kleiman. We'll get to that next. Chris Kleiman got a contract extension, and a good one, and deserved. But how about this? Iowa AD Gary Barta is retiring. Iowa Deputy AD and Chief Operating Officer Beth Goetz has been named Iowa's interim athletic director effective August 1st. K-State's got another contract extension they got to work on. And his name's Gene Taylor. If you are Kansas State, you cannot let Gene Taylor get out the door. He is a very good athletic director. He's obviously made two of the best hires that K-State has made in a while. When you consider Chris Kleiman, it's kind of worked out. Same as Jerome Tang, kind of worked out. Fundraising for the Shamrock Center, new indoor facility, things have gone well under AD Gene Taylor. Do you know where Gene Taylor spent his time before Kansas State?
I believe that's Iowa. Jake.
He was there in Iowa for the Hawkeyes. He was there a deputy AD. If I am Iowa, I put on the Arkansas Nolan Richardson 40 minutes of hell on Gene Taylor, and I get as many Brinks trucks as I can to back it up to Gene Taylor. That's what I would do if I was Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know if you know, but Iowa and their situation right now, their head coach is probably not going to be there a whole lot longer. Kirk Ferentz has been there a bit. I don't know. Was there a team that had a coach that seemed to have been there forever, and it was a well-regarded coach, and Gene Taylor helped lead the transition there? I don't know if you know who that was.
I vaguely remember there was some university, maybe almost an hour to the west of us here in Topeka, that has purple as a primary color that maybe had to go through that process. Not for sure, though. Not confident.
It's what Iowa, that he is number one on their list. Now,
he should be number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Whatever Iowa needs to do, I would go after Gene Taylor. Mm-hmm. If I'm Gene Taylor, you got a pretty good situation right now at Kansas State.
You do.
You like what you're doing. You like it there. It's not as if, he's going back home. He was the AD of North Dakota State for a long time, and then wanted to become an AD of a bigger institution. So he went to be a deputy AD of Iowa because he wanted to be an AD at a power institution. Now he is. Yeah. Iowa's got Big Ten money.
Yeah.
Can they?
Yeah. I don't know if Gene Taylor would leave if offered enough. I really don't know what the situation would be. Now, I really don't know what's the right call for Gene Taylor because he's got something good going at K-State. Like that's undisputed.
Yeah. Got a lot of power in the Big 12, too.
He does. But, you go to Iowa, there's a lot of things that you can do in a situation you can try and work around in a fan base that's one to work with you on a lot of things. So it's a fascinating situation. And the thing I can guarantee is Iowa's making a call. Whether Gene Taylor takes the call or how seriously Gene Taylor listens to the call is the question. But I was going to make a call.
I also know one thing. K-State's going to offer a pay increase.
Oh, K-State's going to offer a lot of things to go. Gene, please stay.
Yeah, that Gene Taylor, very, very good athletic director.
Because right now, K-State's leadership at the top, and I mean the entire way down, like AD into all the coaches and all the departmental systems, it's all working so harmoniously. Yep. It takes one thing to rock that entire boat and throw everything you've built out of whack. So if I'm K-State, I want to keep everything together.
Richard Linton, you are the president of Kansas State. Now you got to do your job.
Yep, it's up to you, buddy.
You got to you got to keep Gene Taylor. You have to if you're Kansas State. Coming up, we will get to depth issues for the Chiefs. We'll get to that coming up next. Mic'd up with Jake and Fulton. Thank you so much for stopping by on this Thursday afternoon. Little rain earlier in the morning time, but should be kind of nice. Might have some rain coming up in the evening time. So might get a little overcast today. A little severe weather here recently, but so far, good afternoon here in the capital city of Kansas. We are going to hear from the Chiefs contingent. It is the second week of OTAs, or organized team activities. And we'll hear from Steve Spagnuolo meeting with the media. We'll also hear from Andy Reid and from Matt Nagy. That'll be coming up in the 2 o'clock hour. Reid and Matt Nagy's will hear from Steve Spagnuolo. A little update from Chiefs camp as well. So that will be coming up here in this 1 o'clock hour. We will also get to our favorite activities as a kid. Summer is here. It is June 1st. What did you like to do as a kid? That is going to be our list today for Everyone Loves List. We got an edition of Start Bench Cut coming up as well. If you missed it, you can go to our podcast page for the interview with Nija Canaday. Great to hear from Nija Canaday, the Topeka High product, now freshman of the year in the softball world for Stanford. And they play Oklahoma coming up at 1:30. Let us know your thoughts. Hit us up on our text line, 785-272-9429. They can also let us know on our Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line. Go to our YouTube page. Very simple, very easy. Go to youtube.com/sportson580. So simple. Hit the subscribe button. Would love for you to do that. No Royals baseball. Fulton, we didn't address it in the noon hour. The A's did not win 3 in a row.
Yes, so the Atlanta Braves do not need to be relegated.
So that is a positive.
The Atlanta Braves avoided the ultimate embarrassment that is getting swept by the Oakland Athletics.
So the A's nor the Royals have 3-game winning streaks.
Mm-hmm.
So just let
the
everyone
Royals
know.
have more 2-game winning streaks.
Yes, they do. They do. So we're going to hear from the Chiefs coming up here in just a little bit. But ESPN's Bill Barnwell did put out his best and worst off seasons. Okay. The best off season goes to the Washington Commanders. What?
I get his logic, though.
His logic is that Dan Snyder's not there.
Yeah, his logic is that they win the offseason because Dan Snyder's agreed to sell the team.
Yes.
The sale is not final. They're still working out the legal mumbo jumbo because, unsurprisingly, it's really hard to execute and finalize the important details to selling a football franchise. But I agree with Barnwell 100%.
Yes.
The Commanders are the winners of the offseason because they no longer have that
gigantic
that guy who the words I properly want to use I can't use.
Yeah,
that piece of garbage.
We'll call him a cancer. Okay.
Yeah, let's call him that because that's what he is.
So yeah, they go with the Commander. When you're like Washington, what the hell did they do? Oh, they signed Andrew Wiley. Yeah. Oh,
and
no.
Bill Barnwell even says right off the bat.
Yeah.
He's like, that's why.
Yeah. Number 2, the Miami Dolphins. They got Jalen Ramsey, got a couple other players as well. They got a new defensive coordinator in Vic Fangio. If you think Vic Fangio's still good. Number 3, they went with the Dallas Cowboys. Number 4, the Eagles. Understandable. Paid Jalen Hurts. Okay. Number 5, the Green Bay Packers for what they got in return for Aaron Rodgers. Good offseason there. Number 6, the Cincinnati Bengals. Good offseason. They think that they have improved, letting go of Williams and, signing Orlando Brown. And then number 7, the Kansas City Chiefs. The team that won the Super Bowl has had the 7th best off season. So this is what Bill Barnwell says. What went right? Kansas City upgraded the tackles in front of Patrick Mahomes with Orlando Brown and Andrew Riley both hitting free agency. Most teams would have been terrified. But instead, they filled out those positions well. A number of NFL organizations would have settled for what they had. They would have given Brown an enormous contract, kept Wiley to contain their offensive line continuity. Instead, the Chiefs dared to get better. They dared to be great. They signed Jaguars tackle Juwan Taylor, presumably a move from the right side to the left side. That seemed curious, but Donovan Smith's market failed to develop, and they brought in the longtime Bucs tackle on a short-term deal. With those sandwiching the interior of Tooney, Creed, Humphrey, and Trey Smith, the Chiefs have one of the best lines on paper. That's all Mahomes needs. What went wrong? Are they one pass rusher short? Veterans Carlos Dunlap and Frank Clark departed. They did add 2.5 sacks and 8 quarterback knockdowns during the postseason. Brett Veach went out, grabbed replacements Charles Omenihu, and used his first-round pick on Felix and Uzomah, last year's first-rounder on the edge. Hopes to have a breakout in his second season. Chris Jones is there. He enters the final year of his deal. I suspect we will see Veach dip into the market for one more veteran here, although it might be an in-season move. I don't think they have to, but if you want to go get a Carlos Dunlap type in season, I can see it. But to me, they do have 4 edge rushers if you consider Omenihu an edge. Omenihu, Karlaftis, Dana, and Felix and Uzomah. That's 4 edge guys. But instead of looking at edge and interior as different, I think the Chiefs just view them as, we've got in our minds 5 guys who we think can play at a high level. Chris Jones, Omenihu, even though he's going to be suspended probably for 2 games, Karlaftis, Dana, and Felix and Uzomah. I'm high on Uzomah because he's going to play the edge, and I think that's what he's built for, whereas he didn't play the edge. You know, he played in a 3-4 for Kansas State. So I think because Chris Jones is going to get kicked outside every now and then. Folks, remember the most important defensive play of the entire NFL season happened because Chris Jones lined up as an edge rusher. Joe Burrow had 1.5 seconds to get rid of it, and he didn't. Therefore, he got sacked, and we all know everybody saw it coming. Sky Moore, great punt return, sets up the field goal to win it. So I don't know if they need it. Could they? Yes, but I think the Chiefs' defensive line with those 5 should do enough, and then you can just rotate the guys in the middle to be the space eaters, you know, of the Derek Notties, Tershawn Whartons, and draft pick, help me out here, Coburn. I think those guys. So, but here's the thing that interested me. What's left to do? Shop in the distressed corner market. Veach has a long-standing habit of going after cornerbacks with low-cost, low-risk deals, which has yielded mixed results from Bashad Breeland. That worked out well. DeAndre Baker. That really didn't. Mike Hughes. Not really. The Chiefs are set with L'Jarius Sneed, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson in the starting lineup, but the guys behind them are day 3 picks with no limited or no experience. I wouldn't be surprised if they go after a highly drafted cornerback who either hits the waiver wire or comes up on the bargain trade candidate at the end of camp. Former first rounder and starting jobs such as Noah Igbenogany. The guy who played at Auburn, you want to give it a crack?
Should be Igbenogany.
Igbenogany.
I'm going to his Pro Football Reference page. They
Either way,
a pronunciation guide there. I'm just now curious.
And Caleb Farley stand out as reclamation projects. Igbenogany.
It's Igbenogany.
Igbenogany. Okay.
Igbenogany.
They don't need corner. They don't need to go trade for a corner. They've got 4 corners. Snead, McDuffie, Watson, and then
Joshua Williams.
Did Williams wow people last year? No.
But did he show he can do the job? Yeah.
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 And then they drafted 2 of the guys that they're high at. I'm just not seeing where
I don't think the Chiefs need a corner. I think they are fine. But I'm also not going to tell you I would be surprised if Brett Veach pulled off another Brett Veach special. Like, if you're going to tell me that either of those guys got released and needed a new home, that Brett could sign them for nothing and he wouldn't just do it.
I don't think
of course he would.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he would.
They drafted Shamari Connor in the 4th round.
They did.
And
they drafted Nick Jones in the 7th. If you're telling me at the end of camp that Connor and Jones are like, they're fine, but there's a chance they don't feel confident, and a former first-round pick's out on the street, it's just what he does.
That's what he does. You are that is the BDS.
It's the Brett Veach special. That's why we call it that for a reason.
That's the BDS. No question. I just think that this Chiefs team is set at corner with those 4, and I think what they view Shamari Connor and Nick Jones.
Yeah, I think what they view Connor and Nick Jones as, yes, but we're talking when training camp's going through, we're moving through time, when we're seeing what players are. If something changes, I wouldn't be shocked.
And maybe that's correct. But last year, it was the same situation. They said, yeah, we're going to ride with McDuffie and all these rookies.
And they did because the corners impressed. Because Jalen Watson looked good. Because Trent McDuffie was doing Trent McDuffie things. Because Joshua Williams was acclimating so fast. That's why my caveat is, if Connor and Jones are not looking well, they might be open. Like, if we're comparing it to last year, then you need Connor and Jones to look like they could be competent players.
No,
like, that's the point.
I think
that's why they were cool with it, because they're like, they knew in a pinch, they felt comfortable with Watson and Joshua Williams.
I don't even think they have to. The reason I say I don't. You're going with the very water is wet approach. Like, oh, we'll wait and see. I don't think they're too worried about Connor and Jones, and I think they're okay.
I don't think they are either.
The depth, and the reason why is if last year going into this season, they didn't go out and get a veteran core, because I was one of them. Who was like, look, you can't be rolling with all these rookies. They did. And now all those rookies are still here. Like, we didn't know how good McDuffie was going to be. We didn't. So, and now we do know. Yeah. So you've got 4 legitimate corners on your roster.
Yes.
Legitimate.
Yes.
And then you've got 2 other guys who you think can end up improving. Yeah. I don't think there's much chance at all that they're going to go out. I think last year they had a better chance of going out and getting a corner than this year. I think they're set at corner. I really like their secondary. I think they're this. To me, the secondary is going to come down to, is Reed going to improve a little bit? Because low key, he was not that great last year.
Yeah, he was all right. He wasn't as great as you would want him to be.
And then can Brian Cook
be a full-time starting safety?
Yeah. That's to me. To me, they did. They went out and they got the veteran guy. They got Mike Edwards.
Yeah.
They looked at the secondary and said, yeah, we need some help at the safety spot. I don't think it is the corner spot. I think if Connor and Jones are still not those dudes, I still think they're set at corner because they feel they've got 4 guys who are going to be good.
And I'm not trying to necessarily disagree with that or say that your thought process is incorrect, because I do see the logic behind it. I just feel in a world where Shamari Connor and Nick Jones are not progressing like the Chiefs thought they would, and where they're like, we have 4 corners people feel confident in, but behind that, we're very uncertain. And if someone like Nija Canaday or Caleb Farley just fell into their lap and at a very low risk and low cost.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go out and trade. I don't think they're going to give up a draft pick for any of those guys.
At most, I think if someone wanted a Travarius Ward deal of like, we will take a, I think it was
no, you're thinking of Fenton, like a Fenton deal.
No, Travarius Ward was the Parker Anger deal. Yeah, I think I am thinking of Rashad Fenton then.
Where
it was like compensatory seventh or conditional seventh, what it was. If someone was like, we'll give you Caleb Farley for a 7th round pick, why do you say no?
Because I think they're good. I'd keep that 7th round pick and draft another Nick Jones.
Buddy, you can't make a living doing that.
He has.
But it's the same the same principles applying, though.
I think I'd keep the 7th round pick.
The same principles applying, though.
Like
we talk about this all the time. 7th round picks are lottery tickets. We talk about that all the time. That's what you and I believe.
Yeah. Yes.
That lottery ticket is the same whether it's the rookie coming out of nowhere or if it's Caleb Farley. It's the same lottery ticket. Can you take this thing and make it good for you?
I just don't see, because you're not going to sign these guys for it's a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
They ain't going to play. They got 4 guys ahead of them.
And that's why I'm saying this is in a very specific scenario that I think they would do this.
Yeah, I don't even think there's a specific scenario. I think they're set. I like the cornerback room. I think those 4 are good. I do too. I think they like Connor because they moved up to get him. Yeah. I like the corner.
I like the room too, but so who are you taking off? Who are you taking off? Who are you going to take off? Again, it depends. Like, if it looks like Nick Jones cannot play corner this year,
you're just cutting him.
No, I'm putting him in the practice squad. If it looks like Nick Jones, then I'm going, man, I do not feel comfortable. That man needs an entire year to season. I don't want us to risk putting him on the field.
You're going to give up a 7th round pick for your 5th corner.
Potentially. It's a 7th round pick.
It's a 5th corner.
It's a 7th round pick.
I would rather keep my 7th round pick than a 1-year 5th corner.
If it's a 7th round pick.
Yeah. Like, they're not going to play. As long as those 4 guys in front of you don't all get hurt at the same time, they're not going to play. Like Igban, whatever.
It's always safe to have depth because you never know what's going to happen.
And they do. They've got 4 corners and then 2 rookies. I don't think they got their depth.
And that's why I say this entire situation is dependent on how do they feel about the rookies. That's the thing I'm trying to get you to understand here.
Yeah, and I think I'm not worried about those 2 guys. I think they're going to say they're good.
That's completely fine.
Coming up next, we're going to go with our favorite summer activities as kids. It's June 1st, the start of summer. We'll get to that next. On this Thursday, we are going with our favorite summer activities when you were a kid. Favorite summer activities when you were a kid. What do you got?
Number 4 for me is very simple. Going to some kind of playground. And what I mean, like, go to the park, got the slides, the swings, just because one thing to get you to do that at recess. Another thing, you got just the freedom of a summer day to just go hang out in a random park. Great times.
Well, my number 4, when I got to go to Grandma and Grandpa's, man. Loved going to Grandma and Grandpa's.
See, I was blessed that I did that even during the school year.
Yeah, see, my grandparents lived 5 states away, and so I had to, we went there in the summertime.
Yeah,
Yes, I loved it. Awesome.
My grandma for most of the time lived very close to my dad, then eventually lived right next door to my dad. So I got to see my grandma all the time, including Sunday breakfast. Greatest time of the year. Number 3 for me, sports of some kind. Either that's organized, of like I did a lot of summer baseball programs as a kid, or that's just getting the boys together and like playing catch toss and a football around. Great times.
Number 3 for me, did this every single year. It was for a week at a time. It was VBS, Vacation Bible School. I liked it because you got to do different things.
Okay.
It wasn't because my life was so much centered even around sports when I was a kid in elementary school. It was fun. I enjoyed it. You got to do a lot of different things. VBS, it was a lot of fun.
That sounds good. Number 2 for me, going swimming. Well, swimming was fun.
Number 2 for me, that was all the basketball camps and the football camps that you went to every single summer. Whether it didn't have to be football specific, but I did football, basketball, tennis, did junior golf, the camps that were like a week long, and they always spaced them out. And I think my mom signed me up for everything just so she probably didn't have to deal with me in the summertime.
Definitely fair. Number for me, riding bikes around the neighborhood. Best time ever. Loved riding my bike as a kid.
I never just rode my bike to ride it.
Oh, I did all the time.
It was more so I rode my bike to go do something.
Yeah, it was transportation.
Yeah.
Me, it was just I rode around to ride around bike.
Number 1, and it's not even close, is the swimming pool.
It's a good time.
I'd ride my bike to the swimming pool.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Love the swimming pool. That is number 1, and it's not even close. Coming up, we're going to hear from the Chiefs coaching contingent as they wrapped up week number 2 of OTAs. With what I say right now, because of previous segments that we've had on the show, but
Okay.
got to be careful here.
Okay.
All you Swifties out there, listen up. All you Swifties out there.
Yeah, someone's about to get angry.
The Kicker Performance Audio Summer Concert Road Trip on our sister station, the Big 94.5 and Classic Country 106.9. They're making a stop at Gage Park Railroad, which is next to the zoo, Saturday, June 3rd from 2 to 4. You will have a chance to crack the code on the lockbox and win Taylor Swift tickets. Taylor Swift and her Eras tour will be at Arrowhead on July 7th. Yes, you heard me correct. We will be giving away Taylor Swift tickets. Taylor Swift tickets. The ones that are insane to go to. The ones where people go to the concert and they sing along outside the concert. Have you seen that?
Yeah. They're crazy, man.
That's incredible.
Swifties are nuts.
That is incredible. In the rain outside of Boston, I believe it was, when she was at the Patriots. It was pouring, raining. and you had people outside of it singing along. You have a chance to win Taylor Swift tickets.
Now, please don't get mad at us that we're promoting this. Please don't none of you come out here tell us to take away our man cards for this. Who knew Taylor Swift was so divisive?
Yeah, I did not know that either. Did not know that.
No, either.
We did our favorite Taylor Swift songs when she came out with her album.
Yeah. And she's
And-
got some bops. And man, some of y'all were upset.
Yeah, real mad. By the way, for those of you wanting to go to the T Swift concert, you can get 2 tickets for free by going to the Gage Park Railroad, June 3rd, 2 to 4.
Could do it.
Just go.
Just got to crack the code.
Yeah. Or you can buy them online right now on the secondary market
For like what? $1,000 a piece? That's my guess.
Higher.
Kidding me.
No.
15.
You can get a ticket in section 307, which is like almost the back end of the stage, for $1,400.
Good Lord.
Like if you want lower level, that's $3,500 per ticket. Wow.
Some of y'all.
The people who bought tickets to go see Morgan Wallen, the Swifties are like,
That's still a great story.
poor.
That's still a great story.
Yeah, you poor
Man.
Morgan Wallen people.
Man, that Morgan Wallen story is still hilarious. That is top tier content.
Man. If you had Taylor Swift tickets, would you go?
Like someone just gave them to me?
Yeah, you have 2 free Taylor Swift tickets. Would you go?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you sell them?
I'd consider it just because I know the price. And I'd feel kind of bad while I did it because I know I'm price gouging. But I will actually,
Time out. It's not price gouging if that's what the market's going for.
I'll say this. I will say this. I would sell them less than those because if I'm getting for free, no matter what I'm doing, I'm making a profit. So I could still sell them for an absurd amount, but not that absurd amount. And I'm still making a profit, and I can feel a little better because I'm letting you get them cheaper than that price.
What would be the price for you not to go and
Like-
not sell them? Like if the most you could get for them was $400,
I'd take $400. I use $400 right now. And I just don't care enough to go.
okay.
Now, if I had someone in my life that I cared about, either a friend or a significant other who desperately wanted to see Taylor Swift and I had them, then I'd go. Then there's the connection there. But no one in my life cares that much. I had a friend of mine who would just be like, if you got those would be amazing. I just can't afford them. Then I go because I'm like, hey, you want this thing? Making people I cared about happy is worth more than monetary to me.
I'm selling them puppies, no questions asked. Whatever I can get for them.
What if your wife wanted to go? What if she looked at you and said, Jake, I would really like us to go?
Then I'd have to ask her what is her price, because even she's got a price. And she loves
That's
Taylor.
true.
She would love to go see Taylor. Her concert I've heard is awesome, just absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
From the text line, my man card has been revoked apparently.
Apparently, those are fake
that.
anyways.
I don't get that.
People are people.
You have a chance to win free Taylor Swift tickets June 3rd from 2 to 4. I think that's pretty sweet.
We're not saying you can't sell them back. Probably shouldn't, but
yeah,
I'm not saying you can't.
So someone on the text line was great until she stopped making country music. Her
That's
pop
fine.
stuff not for me. Yeah,
That's
I
totally
understand
okay.
that.
That's a totally
Yeah. Someone
valid
says
opinion.
on the text line, definitely sell them bad boys. But yes, this is what we talked about. I don't know if it was a couple days ago from the text line. Reminds me of the 80s when Michael Jackson tickets. Yes, this is like Michael Jackson stuff where you are outside the stadium listening to the song. That's incredible.
Jake, careful when you say this. If you're going to make people mad, they're going to think you're comparing Taylor Swift to Michael Jackson. That's going to get a different sect of people really upset.
I'm just saying, this is.
I know
this
what you're
we've
saying.
never seen
Your
something like this
comparison's
in a long
correct.
time.
I'm just saying, be careful.
But T Swift tickets.
We apparently are walking a very dangerous line right now.
2 to 4 Saturday.
Yeah.
Gage Park. at the Railroad. We're going to hear from Spags, Steve Spagnuolo for OTAs, met with the media. And here's what Spags had to say.
All right, just great to be back out there. It was nice and humid today. A little different than yesterday. Yesterday was nice and cool. Today we got a little heat. We got a lot of work done. We've had a bunch of work done since we've last visited with you guys and gals, and happy to be back here doing it. So with that, I'll just open it up.
You've got obviously couple new faces from the defensive side, just with the draft and everything.
Yep.
Can you kind of give us a little bit of an overview?
Rundown on all the guys. They're all young. They don't know anything right now. Yeah, no, I mean, so obviously asking about Felix, we haven't seen a lot on him because he's been dinged up a little bit, so it's hard to tell. Listen, we've had Chamari out there. He's slowly progressing. He made a really good play today. Nick Jones, right? Nick's playing some nickel for us, fittingly. He's done some good things coming from a smaller school, Ball State, right? BJ is one. I know I'm going to miss one, but BJ Thompson. But BJ's been really impressive. He's done some good things. He's a young, raw guy. We knew that going in. He stuck out today, made a play. And who's my fifth? Yeah, KC. I call him KC. Great job, but just an energetic, passionate guy. Reminds me a lot of Colin Saunders, really. Same body type, and hopefully he can be the same kind of player. So that's a little bit of a wrap up on those 5 draft picks. And then we got some other younger guys out there running around. Listen, you guys have asked this before and been through it. There's a huge amount of volume thrown at them right now. Justin Reed went through it last year. The vets that come in go through it, and it takes a little while. We don't take that to the game. And all these young guys are kind of spinning and floating, but a little bit of smoothing out now. We went through phase 1, just meetings. Phase 2, we were doing walkthroughs. Then we get them out there going against our offense, and they're spinning. But we got through practice 6 today, so hopefully it's starting to smooth out a little bit.
Question on 2 players. How does Amenahu and then Tranquil fit in the mix for you think, this year?
FAU, Amenahu, Charles. Now, you know what I get messed up on? The Felix last name, the Charles. I'm with you. Okay, Charles and Drew. Look, they're doing a great job. They're terrific. Both those guys are pros, real intelligent football players. Really happy with what they've done to this point and where they're at. I'm glad we got them. I just think both of those guys elevate their positions, and I think that gives us a lot. We'll see how we work them all in. It's going to take a little while for that, but right now, from what I've seen, Drew's made a lot of plays. For a lineman in these practices, we can't finish. You got to stay away from the quarterback, and they pull up, so it's a little bit tougher to tell there. But love the way both those guys operate.
When you throw all this stuff at them, you have the rookies all together at the beginning. So when they get around the veterans, it changes for them. Have you seen, generally speaking, what you'd like to see from that transition from inundating them with stuff and kind of going along the learning process?
Yeah, each guy's different, right? So they came in the rookie mini camp, and now we stayed very basic there because they were going against the offense. And where it started to pile up for them was they were home a week, I think. They went home a week, then they came back, and they were 1 week of phase 2. And we didn't slow down the veterans group. We didn't go back and slow down for them. They just had to pick right up. So they've been playing catch up from the beginning. And each guy's different. Some of the guys stand out and they're really sharp. Other guys, it takes a little while, but I do think for the most part it smooths out for these. You know what? When it typically smooths out is when they make that first really good play, right? They get a little bit of confidence. Like I saw Chamari make that today. I'm hoping that translates to him get a little bit more confidence. These guys, more than anything, when they come in here, gaining confidence is huge. It's huge.
When it comes to edge rushers, you guys, since you've been here, brought in a number of guys late in the game, whether it's Terrell Suggs or Melvin Ingram or last year, Carlos Dunlap. I know that's Brett's deal, but if this is your group, if this is who you go into the season with, you feel pretty good about that bunch? Yeah, right now. Now, listen, I still got to see. We know what George has been here, right? Mike Dana. We know we don't know Charles. We know what he did. So we don't know Felix, right? Way too early on that. Now, Malik Herring and Josh Kando, I really, really am hopeful for those two guys to surface. They've been here for a while. They know what we're doing. But, it's up to them to take that next step. And both of those guys, I think, have done a really good job to this point. Those are the 6 I think we're talking about, right? But you're right.
thank God for Brett in the last few years. We've been able to, Carlos, I think we got early, right? Some training camp or something. And I'm sure we would try to do that again either way. Maybe I guess the hope is that we don't have to, right? That'd be a good problem to have.
Coach, when you look at your second-year DBs like Brian, Jalen, and Joshua, how much more comfortable do they look now than they did this time of year ago?
You can just ask them, and Trent included, right? The 5 of them. NJ is out there doing a great job. Now I sat with them and was somewhere with them a week ago, and they're like light years ahead, and they feel it, and it's different, and they're confident. The first day we went out there for a walkthrough, the communication and the talk. Now I'm including Justin Reed in that because last year was all new for him too, even though he was a vet. The system was new, and those guys just from a verbal and being kind of tied into that standpoint, they were just gelling.
Coach, it looks like you have Nick Jones and Boodle working the inside right now. Yeah. When it comes to top guys, I know they're not working, but do you anticipate McDuffie being that guy for you this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we would never give up on always having Trent and LJ ready to play in there. I don't think that'll change. Love for another guy to surface, so that when we want to keep LJ and Trent outside, somebody can go in there. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. If that doesn't happen, then one of those two will be in there, and a little bit will be depending on who we're playing, what the matchups are. But both those guys can play in there, and we're trying to find another one.
Coach, you saw how Justin Reed worked with Mark Thornhill last year. Just from your perspective, how's he been with Brian Cook this time around?
Yeah, terrific. Brian's one of those guys that he's a bold, vocal guy. Even last year, I know he was kind of the third safety and kind of rolled in there on dime. But as a young guy a year ago, I was impressed with how bold he was. Some of these guys come in, some of these young guys are going through it right now, and they're in a position where they got to communicate, and they don't want to make a mistake, right? So they whisper it, I don't hear them. But the guys that will blurt it out loud and proud, whether they're wrong or whether they're right, I like those guys. Book was like that last year, and he's kind of just carried that into this year. Those guys are working pretty good together.
That is what Steve Spagnuolo had to say. We'll get a quick timeout. We're going to hear from Matt Nagy coming up in the 2:00 hour. Got another edition of Start Bench Cut. Oklahoma, Stanford, about ready to start. Tennessee, Alabama took a little bit because of a lot of scoring. But my goodness, we've got a terrific potential hypothetical situation from the text line.
We do.
I have no idea what I would do.
I think I've made my decision.
We're gonna go. We'll just go with it right now. We won't take a break. So a texter
We're changing our minds on the fly.
Yeah, a texter says if I won the T Swift tickets, I'd actually give the tickets to my oldest daughters, 8 and 10 years old.
Good call, right there. Great.
But then he brings up a great point. Do you let an 8 and 10-year-old go to a concert by themselves? A 10-year-old is a 5th grader, by the way, for those of you wondering. Okay. Here's what I would try to do. Because in this, he says, there's no way I could pick who gets to go, assuming that I just win the 2 free tickets. If you go to the, Kicker Performance Audio Summer Concert Road Trip, Gage Boulevard, next to the zoo. It's the Gage Park Railroad, Taylor Swift tickets. Free Taylor Swift tickets, 2 of them. You have a chance to win. If I only get 2, he goes, if I chose one, the other would forever hold it against me.
Understandable.
Totally understandable.
I got you. Yeah, I got that.
Here's what I would do.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Here's what I would do. Mm-hmm. If I'm put in this situation and I have an 8 and 10-year-old daughter, and I'm assuming the 8 and 10-year-old daughter's some Swifties.
Yeah, have to assume.
I call everyone in my phone book that I know. Mm-hmm. Are you going to the show?
Yep.
And if I find someone who is, I say, can you ride with me?
Mm-hmm.
I will pay for parking. I will stay there in the parking lot.
I'll be the driver. I need you to chaperone my kids.
But see, you can't because they're probably not going to be sitting next to each other. But what they can do is you can say, hey, can you walk my kids to the to their seat?
Mm.
And then maybe you let the ushers know that an 8 and 10-year-old. I don't know. This would be.
It's uncharted territory.
I don't even know what I'd do.
Yeah, you got to find some sort of system to make sure they're safe while inside the stadium.
Yeah, because you can't pick.
You can't pick. No, you can't pick. Either they both go or they don't both go.
Yeah. I asked Britt that, and Britt basically said you either give them to the kids and hope that somebody, and maybe there's some type of chaperone system there because it is a Swiftie concert. I have no idea. Probably not, but whatever. Or you don't tell them you won the tickets and you sold them because you don't want to be put in that situation.
Yeah. There's your 2 calls.
So would you trust an 8 and 10-year-old for 3 hours by themselves while they jam out to Taylor Swift when you're just outside?
It depends on the 8 and the 10-year-old, man. It depends on how you raised them.
I agree with that.
Because if they're showing a level of maturity and then if they've earned your trust, that you trust they can go in there and
I don't know if it's them
Well, it's not just them. No, it's the world too.
It's not them.
I know. I'm with you.
It's not them. Now it's the other 59,998 people there that I don't trust.
No, I'm with you. I feel you.
That's why you gotta
I feel you.
Find someone who's going.
You gotta figure it out. I know. That'd be my plans. I hit up everybody in my phone book. I hit everybody I know on Twitter. I start searching. Honestly, what I do is I find out what my seat numbers are, and I blast them. I'm like, who has the seats next to this? I have a job for you.
Or maybe you go online and you just buy a single ticket yourself and just say, look.
Man, are you making that financial commitment, though? We just discussed how expensive these are.
But if you get 3 tickets for the price of 1.
Yeah, but you're still out like $1,500.
That's so hard.
It's very hard.
What's the age where you would be okay to do that? 13? Maybe 10. Maybe 10's good because you're going to be right outside.
You are. That's the safe part. You're right outside.
There you go. But you have a chance
for me, the age just comes down to: do you trust them to be by themselves, and do you feel safe enough in the environment?
I'm going to tell you this: to me, it's not them; it's everybody else. Because when I was a 5th grader, I didn't have a babysitter.
Yeah,
so my parents trusted me.
And then that point, okay, you got to feel. What do you feel comfortable with?
Yeah. Oh man. Coming up, we're going to hear from Matt Nagy, and then we'll get to a little start bench. Hour of Mic'd Up. Thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday. Jake Levon along with Fulton Caster. You can see Fulton Caster on our YouTube page rocking the fantastic Kansas City Monarchs hat.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
Maybe that's what we'll do for our list tomorrow. Favorite hats. Like favorite hat designs. Like the KC Monarch hat.
Yeah.
One, it's cool because it's retro.
Mm-hmm.
Anything retro gets a bump in coolness.
Yeah.
And then two, just the iconic K and the C and the red stripes and the white. Like the Monarchs hat is 10 out of 10, no notes. I think that's what the kids say nowadays.
Yeah, it's one of the things the kids say.
Or they used to say. Maybe they don't say that no more.
The kids say it's still a decent amount.
Yeah. 10 out of 10, no notes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Maybe we will do that. But we appreciate you stopping by. Let us know your thoughts on our text line. 785-272-9429. Hit us up on our Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line. 785-272-9429. We do have Start Bench Cut coming up here in just a little bit. We're going to hear from Matt Nagy. We'll talk a little Royals baseball. We had 5 questions going into the season. Do we know the answers to that question? Those questions. We will get to that coming up here to finish out this edition of Mic'd Up. Stanford versus Oklahoma, going to start in about 8 minutes. And I'm just guessing if you are going to run a promo of Nija Canaday pitching, she's going to pitch. Just my thought.
Would you like the answer to that question? Because Stanford has put out their lineup.
Canaday pitching?
Yes.
Yeah!
Nija
Awesome!
Canaday will start
cool
in the
is
circle
that?
for Stanford this afternoon in Oklahoma City. They literally just put this out. I think I've looked at this in the 10 seconds since it's been out. The timestamp is matching our time right now. So also I find that funny that I looked this up right now. Yep, but Nija Canaday officially in the circle for this game.
That's so cool.
So Nija will start in the circle for Stanford against Oklahoma. I hope it goes well. I think Nija has the talent for it to go well, but also Oklahoma's a machine. An absolute machine.
They're 55-1.
Yes. They've won 48 games in a row. Do you know when they lost their game?
Well, it had to have been early.
Yeah, well, yes, because it was 48 games ago. I'm gonna give you the date. I don't have it memorized, but give me 1 second and I can find it. 'Cause I know what game it was.
It was against.
Come here. Gosh dang it.
UCLA.
It was not against UCLA.
Yes.
Do you know who beat them?
Duke.
Nope.
Florida.
Nope.
I don't know who.
Baylor.
Baylor.
And it did not count as a conference loss because it was during a not preseason, but early season tournament.
Huh.
So it was down in Waco. Like, it was in Waco. But because it was during their Getterman Classic, it does not count as a conference loss because Oklahoma officially finished the year 18-0 in conference play. But Baylor, on February 19th, won 4-3. Since February 19th, and just to remind everybody, it is June 1st. Over 3 months, Oklahoma softball's not lost. And beyond not lost, they have smoked everyone. Speaking of UCLA, they beat UCLA 14-0 in a 5-inning run.
Yeah, their offense is something that you've never seen before.
Offensively, pitching, everything.
How cool of an opportunity. I hope she pitches well, but if she doesn't, well, you weren't the first one to get destroyed, Nija, by this Oklahoma offense.
You want to talk about revenge for Oklahoma against Baylor? They played a 3-game series in Waco in conference play. Baylor didn't score.
Now
7-0, 4-0, 2-0.
I've heard that the pitching of Oklahoma is not elite.
I can get you kind of an answer to that right now because Oklahoma, I'm really already mad at your design here.
So, but anyways,
yeah.
We do that game is on ESPN if you want to watch the Topeka High product. Just last year, she was striking out people here in the Centennial League, and now she's going to go up against what might be the greatest baseball or softball team to ever exist in the college world.
Also, a correction: they're 56-1. I so apologize to Oklahoma.
That's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, they're so good. They're so good.
I just want to, if it's like they lose like 2-0, that's like a moral victory.
I mean, kinda. You didn't get killed.
That's what I'm saying.
It kind of is.
I asked Brendan at the top of the hour what the betting odds were. Money line. Money line. Oklahoma minus 1,100.
Oh, dang.
Just to let you know, the betting lines on the Denver Nuggets to win the NBA Finals is minus 425. That's a huge, huge favorite for the Nuggets. And they're minus 425. They have the Oklahoma softball team at minus 1,100. That's stupid. Like, that just goes to show you how good Oklahoma is.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they are.
We will keep you up to date on hopefully.
Like the 3-peat's inevitable.
They haven't met Nija Canaday yet.
I got a lot of faith in Nija. I really do. I've watched Oklahoma softball in person several times. And it wasn't this version. And this version's better than what I've seen before. This thing's unreal.
All righty. We're going to hear from Matt Nagy, the former offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, to the head coach of the Bears, to the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. Here is what Matt Nagy had to say to the media today to finish up OTA's week number 2.
I was going to be back at the mental at OC.
Yeah, it feels good, just to get back. Really, just in football in general, just from the season last year was such a joy. It was a lot of fun. like I said before, familiar faces for me. But now we're back at it. Short off season, which we'll trade off any year, and we get back to it.
Now, what do you guys lose in Juju moving on, and how do you replace him, fill that void?
Yeah, Juju did such a great job last year coming in, learning the system. I know routes, and I think he did such a great job that you could see it click with Pat. Really towards the end of training camp and then taking it into the season, he had a great feel, just kind of understanding the offense. So he's also, he has some good experience. So we understand that, and we wish him the best. But at the same point in time, we love our wide receiver room right now. The guys are competing, and it's at a point right now that is always fun when there's new guys that come in from other places or rookies, for them to learn who Pat is and the other quarterbacks and work through that cohesion that they have. But Juju, great player, and but we've got a lot of great guys here we like to.
There's been a lot of stuff about Kadarius potentially being this top receiver for you guys. What makes him that internally for you?
Well, I think we all see what he can do when the football's in his hands. And again, the same type of deal. He comes over halfway through the season. It's a whole new offense. He's got to learn the ins and outs. And so you have that point. And he was able to do that. And it's exciting now for us to be able to take that to year 2 and build that relationship with Pat. But he's super talented with football in his hands, and he's been that way his entire life in his football career.
Pat, during the offseason this year, specific things as far as instead of general improvement with him?
Sure. Yeah, I would say that for us, he does so many things really well. So you want to try to find the things that he can either improve at, or even if you can always go back to footwork and timing with any quarterback. And but at the same point in time too, I think the other thing would be working with his progressions. Getting to number 3 and 4 is always another thing that, instead of maybe trying to force a throw here or there, which I thought he did a good job last year of making smart decisions, working to that 3rd, 4th, and sometimes that 5th progression into play. So really in training camp, we'll really be able to focus on that with the pads.
I just want to ask you about the makeup of the wide receiver. Obviously, you guys don't have maybe a clear-cut number 1, but traditionally, it seems like some depth there. How does that just affect the dynamics of the offense when that is the main one?
Yeah, it's competition, and I think any type of competition that you have always brings the best out of everybody. And the one thing that you see with Coach Reed, Brett Veach, Patrick, and what they've done over all this time together is no matter who it is, whoever the name is, whoever the experience is, they do a great job of making it work for a lot of different reasons because of who they are. And when you have a bunch of guys that come in that are competing for different spots, and it's fun because you feel the energy every single practice. There's no one taking the day off. They're out there. And now it's just a matter of working through what we worked through last year with Juju and Quez, that timing during this OTAs, figuring that out with newer guys that have come in here. And that's as a coach, when you start putting in plays to try to get guys and see what they can do in certain routes, that's what it's about, that process.
Andy always says he really enjoys doing the scheme evaluation after the season. Being in your previous role doing the scheme evaluation, and then obviously being promoted to OC, how did that best serve you as to how you want to make an imprint on the offense now?
Sure. Well, again, everybody here knows, I was fortunate enough to come in here in 2013 with Coach and kind of be there to be a part of the process of implementing the system that we run. And that's evolved immensely in that time till now. But then you have the scheme eval. Every year is different. And we're really hard on ourselves to be in the top 3 every year in almost all categories. We want to do that. So, but there's some areas of improvement that we have that we know we can get better at without telling the whole world. We know what they are. And internally, we're working on that. And that's the challenging part that keeps you going as a coach and as a player, wanting to be great in those, but not lose where you are really good situationally. So that's for me just a part of the process.
Will we be able to see your fingerprints on this, or just the average fan going to be able to tell the difference in the offense?
Beauty of what Coach Reed does. This all starts and ends with him. And in the end, You know, what I think one of Coach's greatest strengths is delegation. He's really good at that because he trusts his staff in all phases, offense, defense, special teams. But at the same point in time, he also, one of his greatest strengths is being able to adapt and change every year. So I just want to be able to help in that area. But there'll be some differences, and I think that's what keeps it exciting and new and fresh for everybody.
Last two on that.
Okay.
And Coach, like you mentioned, you got a young fluid receiver group, and you've got the founder step into a leadership role for that group.
Sure.
What do you see in him that tells you that he's the right guy and the right coach for that group right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. And Connor, I think, has internally, when we're in the building, we get to see every day how these coaches are in front of the players. And another thing that Coach does is he does a great job in the offseason that, again, no one sees, but he gives a lot of responsibilities to the young coaches, quality control coaches, assistant coaches by position. Connor's done that. And I think what better way to interview for that type of position than doing it every day in your role that you're in, which was the last previous couple of years. So Connor has great strengths. He's going to grow like all of us every year. He'll get better. But it's also the player's job, too, to know that and to help out and help each other out. So that's the fun part.
Coach, Clyde obviously is coming into this year. He's not going to get the fifth-year option. He's had some highs and lows on the field, been hurt here and there. What have you seen from him this offseason, getting ready for this year, and what do you expect out of him?
Yeah, just a great attitude. I've always, respected him from afar. When I was in Chicago, just kind of noticed him as a player. And then when he came here to Kansas City and got drafted, and the process of where he was, and for me to meet him last year and see who he is, he's done a great job of just really focusing on right now and everything he can in practice, in the meeting rooms, and just being a leader. For him to be able to understand our role with him, his role with us, and it's a very important position, and his attitude has been phenomenal.
That is what Matt Nagy had to say to the media earlier today for Chiefs OTAs. We'll hear from Andy Reid coming up a week from today for the final OTA, and then you've got mandatory minicamp. And then it's off until training camp at the end of July for the Kansas City Chiefs. So that is what is happening right now. The Stanford Cardinal are up to bat first, and they have runners on second and third with 2 outs in the top of the first. So trying to make something happen.
Give Nija some run support.
Yeah, you're gonna need it. Yeah, you're gonna need it. But the fact they got runners at second, third, that's not bad. That's not bad. So right now, though, we're gonna take a quick timeout. Coming up next, start, bench, cut. Coming up here on Mic'd Up. Start bench cut here on this edition of Mic'd Up. I got three of them for you. Okay, we're gonna start off with, you could give a contract to any one of these guys. So what are you doing? Start bench cut. Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, or Brady Singer?
So Vinny, Bobby, Brady.
Yeah, BBD.
Start Vinny, cut Bobby, start Vinny, bench Bobby, cut Brady.
Okay.
If I'm giving a contract to any of those guys right now, like if I'm looking at any of those guys and I'm going, who do I think most, competently do I have faith in getting me value on a contract? It's Vinny Pasquantino, and it's not close.
Okay.
Because I don't know what Bobby's going to turn into at this point. I don't know, what, I guess, how he'll kind of stabilize and what he'll fully turn into. And then Brady's an absolute pumpkin. Like Brady's turned into a full pumpkin at this point. Like it kind of just is what it is.
Okay.
It truly is. I'm going to give you three veteran starting pitchers near the end of their careers. Zach Greinke, Clayton Kershaw, Justin Verlander.
I don't know how Verlander has done this year.
I don't know how much he's gotten to play this year is the question. Because he started the year hurt.
This year, Verlander he's only started one game, and he did well. 3 hits, 2 earned runs. I'm going to go with start Verlander because he was awesome last year. I'm going to go bench Kershaw, cut Greinke.
Okay. That's fair.
All three should be unanimous Hall of Famers.
Yeah, that's 3 Hall of Famers right there.
Like Verlander and Kershaw are unanimous Hall of Famers. Unanimous Hall of Famers.
They're I'm not going to say they're unanimous only because I know they won't be because baseball writers are stupid.
Well, I'm saying what they should be.
I know.
Those are
they're all the best way to put it about that if they should be unanimous is those are 3 first ballot Hall of Famers.
They the 4 best pitchers of this era are Verlander, Greinke, Kershaw, and Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
And there's no debate. If you want to debate which ones fall in which, that is up for debate. You've got MVP for both Kershaw and for Verlander. I believe Verlander has one more Cy Young.
Maybe?
No, three times. They're both 3 times each.
Both 3 times Cy Young winners?
Yep. Because Greinke's only 1.
Yeah, Greinke only has the 1, which is still the funniest thing in the world. That Zach Greinke, because I'm using this moment to bring this back up, a thing I believe Brendan brought up on 580 Sports Talk yesterday. Zach Greinke in 2015 had a 1.66 ERA, which is a ridiculous number.
Yeah.
And he finished second in the Cy Young.
Scherzer also with 3 Cy Young awards.
Oh,
so, yeah, those are the 3. That's what I'm going with.
That's fair.
Yeah. Alrighty. We're going with season tickets.
Oh.
For you, Fulton.
Oh, boy.
Chiefs, Royals, KU basketball.
The most bang for my buck is the Royals. That's 81 games.
You're what? You love baseball, though, man. You're a baseball guy.
I am.
There's zero chance I do Royals.
Get to go to the KU one time a year. It's great. I think it's start Royals, bench Chiefs, cut KU. I love the Hawks. I truly do. I love being inside Allen Fieldhouse. I wouldn't need to be there.
Questioning your fanhood right now.
Why's that?
You're cutting the Hawks.
Yeah.
Every time you say Hawks, we'd be like,
would you question my fanhood if I cut the Chiefs?
No, because that's your alma mater. It's like 20 minutes down the road. No, that's not your. I didn't think you'd go. I'm not surprised you went Royals because you're a baseball guy.
Yeah, no. You're telling me I can go to 81 baseball games a year. Like I have those tickets in hand for just one lump sum.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, buddy, I'm taking that 10 out of 10 times. And I'd go every weekend. I'd be there for all 81 games. I'd find a way.
Okay.
I would find a way.
All right.
It'd be incredibly easy to figure that out. Incredibly easy to figure that out. Because Nija Canaday is pitching, it sparked this one inside my head just now.
Okay.
So I'm kind of going off fly what I originally planned. 3 city school mascots. Trojans from Topeka High, Chargers to Topeka West, Brennan Scott's to Highland Park. So we're just ranking the mascots. We're just going, nothing about the school. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah, just mascots.
We're not at all commenting on how much we like these schools because I know we have alumnus that listen to this show.
No, okay.
We're just talking mascots. How would you rank those mascots?
Okay.
What are the fans?
So it's basically USD 501.
Yeah.
The answer is I'm cutting Topeka West because the Charger I don't even know what the cell phone charger. I don't even know what that is. That's a bummer. The leadoff batter for Oklahoma just had a 10-pitch at bat that she singled up the middle. That stinks.
Wow, you just described Oklahoma softball in a nutshell. All now we need is a home run to go a billion feet.
Yeah. That stinks. But I like the Scotty. I like the Scots.
I do too.
I do like the Trojans. The Chargers, that's kind of lame. I will go start the Trojans, hoy hoy mighty Troy, bench the Scots and cut the Chargers.
That's fair. I think that's a fine way to do it. Also, Chargers is like, I believe like there's because it's a horse race.
I know, but it's not like it's, if you have to explain what the mascot is.
That's fair. I get your point. I get your point.
That's why that's the drawback for the Ichabod is nobody knows what it is.
Yeah.
But like the Junior Blues, kind of a lame mascot. I like the Vikings. It's cool.
Yeah.
The T-Bird.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Wildcat, very generic, very boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go. All right, last one I got.
Okay.
All righty. Thing with the ticket side of things.
Okay.
I saw something about tickets earlier today. It made me think of this.
It's got tickets
All
on
right.
Jake's head.
Courtside Final Four tickets, Super Bowl tickets, just at Super Bowl, World Series tickets anywhere.
Yeah. I'm starting the World Series tickets.
Okay.
I'm a baseball guy through and through. It's just what I am. Courtside Final Four or the Super Bowl? I'm starting the World Series tickets. I'm benching the courtside to Final Four. I'm cutting Super Bowl. And here's why.
Wow.
Here's what I'll say. The Super Bowl as an overall event is cool. But I don't think I ever need to go.
Oh, I don't want to go to the Super Bowl. That'd be awesome.
I think I can match my enjoyment of it from the comfort of my own home than having to go into that mess.
I'd want to go to at least one Super Bowl. I am starting Super Bowl, benching World Series, cutting Final Four.
Because here's the thing, if you're going to tell me I'm going to the Super Bowl, but I'm up in the nosebleeds, that's not fun for me.
Still going to a Super Bowl.
I can get the same enjoyment and get better views by going, Watching at home.
That's a Super Bowl. Plus, my team might be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's fair.
I know the World
Hey,
Series.
Doc.
I'm going to go watch the Braves and the Dodgers. No, that can't happen.
Quite literally can't happen.
Astros and the Dodgers.
There you go, buddy.
Oh, no. So that's what I'm going with.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right. We are still on batter number 2 as Oklahoma just fouls off everything. That's incredible what they do there. Just foul off. Candy has pitched to 2 batters and has pitched 17 pitches. That's a 10-pitch at bat and a 7-pitch at bat. She should have got strike 3. Blue did no favors to Nija. None whatsoever. Should have been strike 3. Should be on batter number 3. 1 out, runner on first. But instead, good teams get the breaks. Why don't we just give Oklahoma the trophy?
Man.
Very simple. Coming up, we will talk some Royals baseball and what have we learned on the 5 biggest questions in 2 months. I will admit I am not a softball expert. People on the Twitter world are marveling at Canaday throwing 74 miles per hour. Is that a lot?
Yes.
That's
the equivalent of like 99 in MLB.
Okay. Like they're questioning the gun on the social media world right now.
Yeah. Actually, I think 74 is more equivalent to over 100. Like 60 to 65 is a fairly hard thrower. If you're breaking 70, you're getting to like Chapman levels.
Hey, we just had not a strike him out, throw him out.
Just classic caught stealing.
Just a classic caught stealing. That tells me that Oklahoma might be a little bit nervy on trying to score some runs here. If you're trying to steal bases, no, I don't know anything about Oklahoma softball.
This is just great commentary right here.
I am just winging this, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a team that has won 48 in a row, and you have the Death Star as a lineup, why are you stealing bases?
That's part of their game.
Is that what they do?
Not a bunch, and like they don't like run like wild, but they'll run when they want to.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll run.
I have no idea. That's what I'm saying. Like
their lineup is the Death Star, and so they don't do it a lot. But if they feel it's an advantageous moment to run, they'll try.
The reason I bring that up is why would you risk an out if you have the Death Star as a lineup? So I'm with you. I feel you. Question.
I feel you. I get your point. The question is valid.
Also, the first two batters, it took Canaday to throw 22 pitches. And I believe, oh no, we got an error on the fielder here, and that's not
just airmailed that puppy.
Yeah, that's not great. So this will be an unearned run if it does score. So there's runner at second, 2 outs. She's thrown 26 pitches.
Mm-hmm.
I know the underhand motion is the normal motion. What's the most pitch? Like what's the pitch limit for softball? Is it like 100? Is it 150? I know you can pitch a lot of recovery.
I'm going to give you a quote from one of the finest American films of the mid-2000s, Mean Girls. The limit does not exist.
Seriously?
Seriously. It's very pitcher dependent, but it's just whenever you feel like you need to change them. Jake, I've watched pitchers throw out 200.
No, I know, because you used to call softball for KU.
Yeah. No, it's like you switch pitchers in softball more based on strategy and your own feelings of their own limitations than anything else. There's not a hard and fast rule on pitch counts. Like pitch counts as a thing in softball don't really exist because it's just like for one girl, maybe her limit is like 120 and you know about 120, she may start getting gassed.
Yep.
For other girls, it might be, they can go 200 and it's nothing. It's easy breezy.
Yeah. It
very depends.
I know the recovery time is a lot quicker.
Yes.
I mean, you can pitch all the time. I mean, Washburn's got a phenomenal pitcher in JC Ginter. I mean, she's terrific this year.
JC's fantastic.
All-American and everything. But that's what some people on the Twitter world are commenting about is she's going to get to her pitch limit here very quickly. And she strikes out the last batter.
Let's go, Nija.
Nija Canaday battles off one leadoff hit, an error for her team, strikes out 2.
Scoreless through 1.
Fantastic. From the Twitter world, Stanford is going to be a problem. This Canada, that's what it says, is nasty. That is so
Call
cool.
it Nija her own country. Yeah, no. I'm glad more people are getting exposed to the world of college softball.
Must be very easy calling pitches for Canaday. Quote, do the one where you throw it hard as hell, unquote.
I mean, do that one where you throw 75, which I'm not kidding you. I don't know if I've seen 75. Like, I don't know if I've seen a softball player throw that. I need to find, there is a way to get the equivalent, because it's all about reaction time. It's like the equivalent speed thing is reaction time.
Keep in mind, 74 mile per hour pitcher at 43 feet is well over the equivalent of a 100 mile per hour baseball pitch that's thrown from 60 feet.
Yeah, that's like, again, that's why that is being, that was like so impressive. Hunter Green for the Reds, there was like 102 constantly. That's what Nija Canaday's doing. Like, we all talk about, like, oh man, Rollins Chapman just fired that baby in there at 102. Yeah. Carlos Hernandez throwing in there at 101. Yeah, Nija's just doing that as a starter. And just casually doing that. That's what Oklahoma's dealing with.
Was a holy mother, Canada's rise ball is lit today, according to the social media.
It's very
world.
good.
So,
it's a very good pitch.
That's good stuff there for Nija. They're really wonder, and this is what's so cool about this for Nija is this is the game that people wanted to see. The person who's got the lowest ERA in college softball going up against, the Death Star.
Yeah.
And this is like They made the mistake of playing this game at 2:00 in the afternoon. They should have flipped them, and they should have the bottom bracket play first. Because the whole goal is the whole goal to maximize exposure here too. I mean, the whole goal is to find
it's the goal is you want the most competitive games in the biggest windows, and
but I feel like times don't matter.
It depends. Like,
put Oklahoma in prime time. People want to see the Death Star.
And like I said, I don't know how the College World Series the Women's College World Series decides what seeds play when. But I mean, it's very often that one seeds get the mid-afternoon slot. And that's just like tournament logic purely. Like one seeds usually get the mid-afternoon slot because then they get, longer recovery time for the evening. They don't have to get up as early. So it's just a few different things there.
Yeah. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. Alrighty. We are going to get to our Royals discussion. And we had 5 questions to start this season for the Royals. We did not list them to each other, but we had 3 of them that were the same.
Yeah.
2 of them that were a little bit different.
Yeah.
In no particular order, these were the things that I wanted to have answered this year. Sometimes in 2 months, you have an answer.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes in 2 months, you don't. So right now, can Brady Singer back up his terrific 2022 season? As of right now, the answer is no. It's not been good. And that's been a big, big bummer for this Royals franchise. Because we had the topic of, should you buy out his 2 years of arbitration and a year of free agency?
Yeah, we had that. We were talking that a lot last year, and even going into this offseason was, do you try and extend Brady Singer? Do you try and, jump, strike while the iron's hot, so to speak? Now in hindsight, it's like a great call that they did. Because I don't know, Brady. I said this a little bit last year, going into this year. I think 2022 Singer is the highest of highs, and I don't think that's sustainable. And I don't think what he's showing this year is correct. I think I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. The problem is he can't find the middle. Like, I think somewhere.
I don't want him to find the middle. I'd like to find the 22 season. Find that.
Well, and I think real Brady Singer and like what he could be consistently is a guy whose ERA is like 3.8, 3.9. It's like number 3 starter stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can be that, but no, I had the exact same question with you was, can Brady do it again? And that is just such a resounding no. Just such a resounding no because of how bad he started this year.
Our second question that we combined, I added more specifics because I think I really do think that there is a chance that Drew Waters can be the center fielder for the future for the Royals. And it was, can Drew Waters play center field for the Royals? It's
incomplete. He's played like 5 games.
Yeah. The injury that really stinks. It really, really does. Because in 2 months, you can get a pretty decent feel right now for a guy like Drew Waters, who had dipped his toe in the waters last year and actually his OPS was 830 games. 800 OPS. I don't care what you're doing. If you got an 800 OPS, you play center field and you play a good center field, and he plays a good center field.
Oh yeah, he does.
There's your center fielder for the next 4 years. And the reason why is they put a lot of hope into Drew Waters because they gave up a 2nd round pick.
Well, they gave up a competitive balance pick in the 1st round. Compensatory pick.
Well, it's after the 1st round, before the 2nd round. So maybe just call it the 2nd round, 3rd round, but whatever. They gave up a lot and said, we're going to go after this guy. So kind of a bummer right now that he hasn't done it.
Yeah, I expanded it more to just, do they have a center fielder allowing the door to be open for a guy like Kyle Isbell or any guys in the minors too, to be a part of the answer to the question. And no one has stepped up as the answer to the question yet.
And so if we were being like really honest, the answer is no, because we don't know.
Yeah, the answer is no, because we don't know. Yeah. But the thing is, you can't even say, yeah. And our point of incomplete is, I mean, Drew Waters could also pop off for the next 3 months, starting this weekend. And then the answer to the question is yes. Mm-hmm. It's just incomplete.
And tomorrow we are going to go with our biggest questions
going into the rest of the year
for the next 4 months, June, July, August, September.
Yeah.
Because they are going to be different.
Oh, yeah.
Because right now, I'm going to tell you this, it's not can Singer bounce back.
No,
that's not going to be one of my questions for the
I
rest
ain't got
of
that
this
question
year.
anymore, man.
Does Daniel Lynch take the next step? So far,
it's incomplete too.
What we have is yes.
Yeah, because I would say that one start,
5 1/3,
was
the
good.
answer was yes.
He did his job. Yeah. It wasn't perfect, but that you give me 5 1/3 and a 2-run baseball. We good, Dan.
I'm
we
right
real good,
situation.
buddy.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
My question, third question, was independent of yours. It was different. We're just simply, can Bobby be a long-term shortstop? Can you put him there and have no complaints? Answer to that is yes.
Yeah. Defensively, he's been well above average.
He's been a stellar defensive shortstop, which now I now can fully say, Bobby's your shortstop. Don't change it. Just put him there. Let him be your shortstop. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Does MJ Melendez show improvement? And that is a no. I am starting to get a little worried about MJ. And for a couple of reasons. One, he does not look comfortable up at the plate, and his numbers show it. But also, he's a man without a position. I thought he was playing, the corner outfielder spot okay, but I don't think he's improved enough. Would you call him a liability? Is he an Edward Olivares in the outfield?
No. That answer is a resounding no.
So that's a no question no. But you would also say he is not a Drew Waters or a
MJ somewhere, and I'm
or a Kyle Isbell or somebody like that.
Yeah, MJ is somewhere in the middle, and I'm being who I am. I pulled up his baseball savant page, who tracks things like outs above average and jumps and things like that. He's below average.
Yeah,
he is a below average outfielder, but he's not a liability.
What is Edward Olivares?
Oh, buddy, let me look that up.
Is he one of the worst out there? Because MJ is not, you're going to lose runs. When we talk about defensive runs saved, where Jackie Bradley Jr. is I think 5th overall.
He might be 1st overall among center fielders.
He's terrific. MJ's losing runs.
Yeah, so MJ Melendez, percentile-wise, is in the 47th percentile of outs above average. So he's almost average.
Yeah, below average.
Edward Olivares, the 3rd percentile.
Oh my, he's that terrible. Huh?
Yes, Edward Olivares is in the 3rd percentile of outs above average. And I want to see if I can get the actual number that he's cost.
You don't need to.
He's
real bad.
It's only -3 outs above average.
There's more than that
this year. But that's my point of he's not a liability.
Those numbers are wrong.
Yeah, it's such a complicated piece.
I know I can tell you this. He's cost them more than 3 runs.
No, but MJ is, because he shows flashes of being really good, then he'll make mistakes. He's learning, but he's
the problem is that you can handle that if you're hitting it Vinny.
If his bat comes around, he can be a right fielder.
Let me ask.
The problem is the bat is struggling a little bit.
Let me ask you: if we had the automated strike zone, would you put MJ at catcher?
No, because I think long term, physically, outfield's his best spot.
Okay.
Because his framing numbers were fine this year when they were doing it. His framing got better.
Catcher. He's been awful defensively as a catcher.
Yeah, and I think it goes beyond framing, and that's why I'm just put him in the outfield.
Okay.
I think that's a fine spot for him.
Okay. All right.
It goes beyond that.
Last question is, have they found a third baseman or shortstop opposite of Bobby Witt Jr.? this is the biggest problem that the Royals have had. They got really nobody. They don't have a Drew Waters who was a top 100 prospect.
Yeah,
at short or at third.
Solving third base is their biggest issue right now. They have potential answers, but no one is a stone cold answer.
Yep. Last thing I'll say here, if the Royals get the right offer for Salvi at the break, what do? You will never get the right. Salvador Perez, his contract is too big for somebody to give you, to me, anything of value. His contract, which he's going to be owed 20-some million, nobody wants to spend 20-some million on a catcher, especially in today's age when catchers only catch like 100
games a year, especially his age
and his wear and tear. I mean, you're basically getting you're going to pay 20 million for a DH, who doesn't get on base. He hits home runs, but if you're going to trade Salvi, you traded Salvi back in 2017, and they didn't do that. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up with the mic drop. What do you got, Fulton?
Very simple. Nija Canaday faced Oklahoma is going well so far. Hope it ends well.
Just got another strikeout. Nija Canaday rocking it. Brendan and Dan will give you some updates on that. We will talk to you tomorrow at noon. Have yourselves a great afternoon.